All right, let's jump right in. Every single day, thousands of huge ships are moving across our oceans. They're kind of like the invisible backbone of our whole world. I mean, they carry pretty much everything, your phone, your clothes, even the food you eat. But right now, this massive industry is trying to clean up its act. And that change, well, it comes with a hidden cost that we really need to talk about.
This right here, this is what a seafarer told an investigator, and it just cuts right to the heart of the story. It's a story about progress hitting a wall of pressure, about brand new technology clashing with some really old problems. So what's really going on out there on the high seas? Let's get into it.
To really get what's at stake, you first have to understand the world of the people who are right in the middle of all of this.
I want you to just imagine spending 6, 8, maybe even 10 months away from your home, your family, everything. You're working these long, tough hours on what's basically a floating factory in the middle of the ocean. This is the reality for the world's 1.9 million seafarers. They are the invisible workforce that keeps our lives moving, but their own lives, their struggles, they pretty much go completely unseen. Okay, so into this tough, old-school world comes this huge force for change. You know, the global push to make everything greener. Let's be honest, the shipping industry is a huge polluter. It's responsible for about 3% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. That's a lot. For decades, the go-to fuel has been this thick, sludgy, and really dirty stuff called heavy fuel oil. But now, with all this pressure from governments and, well, from us, the industry is scrambling to find cleaner ways to power their ships.
And this, right here, shows the leading solution. LNG, or liquefied natural gas. You can see, compared to that old, grimy fuel, LNG is a massive improvement. It burns way cleaner, and it seriously cuts down on pollutants and emissions. On paper, it looks perfect. I mean, it's a huge win for the environment. But as you're about to see, there is another side to this story.
Because this new, cleaner fuel, it introduces a whole new set of dangers for the crew that has to handle it.
So what is LNG anyway? Well, it's just natural gas that's been cooled down to a mind-bogglingly cold temperature, minus 162 degrees Celsius. That's colder than the coldest temperature ever recorded in Antarctica. By getting it this cold, it turns into a liquid which shrinks its volume 600 times. That's the secret to how they can pack so much energy onto one ship.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If this fuel is so much better for the planet, why are the actual people who have to work with it every single day raising these huge red flags? What are they seeing that maybe the rest of us are missing?
Now, here's what's so wild. That extreme cold isn't just a number on a chart. If this liquid touches your skin, we're talking about severe frostbite, instantly. If there's a leak, it doesn't just make a puddle. It can form a huge vapor cloud that's incredibly flammable. And the whole system is kept under enormous pressure, needing really complex equipment and somebody watching it constantly. These are not just risks on a safety poster. They are the new, everyday reality for the crew.
This is where the story gets really complicated, because these new on-the-job dangers are smashing head-on into the economic reality of what it's like to work at sea.
So we've established that handling LNG takes more skill, it demands more training, and it carries a way higher level of risk day in and day out. These seafarers aren't just deckhands anymore. They're managing what's basically a floating, high-pressure, deep-freeze power plant. So the question is, are they being paid for that extra responsibility?
Let's just put a number on it. $2,000. That's a representative monthly wage for a seafarer on one of these ships. For months of back-breaking work, for being thousands of miles from their families, and now for handling a much more hazardous fuel, that's their compensation.
And that is the absolute core of the problem. You see the disconnect? The job has fundamentally changed. It has become more dangerous, and it demands more expertise. But according to the seafarers themselves, their pay has stayed exactly the same. They're being asked to shoulder all the risk of this green transition without seeing any of the reward.
Which brings us to the ultimate question at the center of this entire, massive shift in global shipping.
Look, the shipping industry is pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into these new, high-tech, LNG-powered ships. It's a huge technological step forward, no doubt. But the word from the crew is that the investment stops at the hardware. The human element, the people who actually have to make these complicated systems work safely every hour of every day, they feel like they've been forgotten in the equation. And that leaves us with this final thought. Moving to cleaner shipping is good. It's necessary.
But as we celebrate that environmental progress, we have to ask ourselves, who is truly paying the price for it? It's a question worth thinking about the next time you see one of those massive ships quietly gliding across the horizon.